looks like my restream chat is not connecting. I'm going to try to get this thing connected and see how we go. Oh, yep, there we go. It's connected. Yes. How's everybody doing? Okay, so I have some fun character stuff to work on today. It's essentially like a chance for me to go through and redesign characters that I built and designed when I was in college. so, so yeah, that's essentially kind of what I'll be working on. It's for this personal project that I'm working on, and I won't reveal a whole lot about it just because it's something that I you know, want to keep for me for right now. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get started. One of the things I want to go ahead and prep for myself is I want to prep a PureRef document um, with my reference. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to pull the sculpt down here so that people can see it. This is essentially my progress now. This is what I'm doing to kind of redesign the character, make it so that it works in 3D and so that it holds the essence of the character from the 2D image. So I'm going to go ahead and let's pull this in. I'm going to start pulling together some reference. So this is just a quick little paint over that I did like a few years back when I wanted to try to start to do it again. It's kind of funny. Let me see. Let's bring in this guy right here. Whoa, that's so big. Wow. Okay, so we're just gonna make him something like that. Bring this guy up here. Okay, so that's the character. Let me see. Yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll leave it at that for right now. What I want to do, let's go back. And we will start pulling in the actual reference. And in fact, while I'm at it, I guess I can start pulling in, I've got this other character that I'll start today. What I'm trying to do is pull together a Sasquatch the gosh. I'm doing pretty well. How are you doing? Yeah, so I'm just going through pulling together some of my reference, and I'm going to pull together my reference for both characters. This is one that I'll start today. His name is Guru. Goro. I actually don't know how to pronounce it, but I'll write it down just so that let me see. How is it that I have to add text, canvas, no, mode, always on top, save, paste. I can't remember how to add text. Oh well, doesn't matter. I'll look it up later if I need to. But for right now, I'm going to be working on this character. And let's do this. I am going to take, sorry, let's move this off to the side for a second. I am going to take a screenshot of this so we can have kind of more of a fresh image in that reference about what it would look like. So there we go. Good little screenshot there. There we go. Quentin! How are you doing, brother? Okay. I'm going to go grab some reference now. Let's see, character Kai. So, just so that you're aware, this will make you chuckle. I love this little boy. He is so awesome. His name is Lu Hao. And you have probably seen him around if you have seen, you know, chubby little boys on the on the interwebs. He is so fantastic. This little boy is perfect. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I am going to take this, move this up here. I'm gonna move this one right here, but I want to click this so that it's on top. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll go ahead and just bring these in. Maybe make this one a little bit bigger or something like that. And then we'll just click this one so that it's on top. Okay. The other little kids don't matter as much. Yeah, he's so awesome. I love the shapes and just everything. So this is the little boy that inspired Kai, which is my character here. Um, Obviously, very different hairstyle, some slightly different shapes, things like that. But I mean, this kid is beautiful, beautiful child. All right, so that's going to be kind of my reference for this thing here. We're going to go ahead and let's save it. Save as. Got to go into Kai. Actually, let's go into characters just because this will be. Let me say stairs because that's the name of the project. Stairs character ref. In fact, maybe we'll just say char ref. Be even more abbreviated and more industry standard. All right. So there we go. So now I've got my reference. It's off to the side, and now I can get started. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. It's a little bit too much dark over there. All right. So now that that's going, let's go ahead. Let's get this going. Okay. So one of the things that I've been trying to do, this started off as an in-class demo last week for the class that I teach at Nolan, and I'm really liking how this is starting to turn out. Definitely a whole lot better. It's got some subtle plane changes you can see happening up here around the top of the eyelid, the top of the eyebrow, the bottom of the eyebrow, the top of the eyelid. Hint. The nose has a bit of a plane change, although it got a little bit messy when I started going through and adding in nostrils. So I'm just going to kind of tidy this up just a little bit. And this will get cleaner as we add topology at some point too, which I may do a stream on that. I don't know if I will or not though. So yeah, something like that. Essentially, I'm just going to be going through and kind of building this character out just a little bit, but not beyond like the shoulders area. I'll be starting second character for this stream. But yeah, a lot of the purpose behind this particular character is to show my class at Noman kind of the process of taking things, you know, little by little across character development. I don't like that. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll probably leave that the way it is. Now let's. I'm going to go ahead and start. Start playing with the shoulders. Boondocks, huh? What's boondocks? I mean, I know what the boondocks are, but I don't know. I don't know. Is it a show? Is it a game? I have to be more specific in my questions, I suppose. So this child, if I look at Lu Hao, hey Peter, how you doing? If I look at my reference, oh shoot, if I look at my reference, I can see kind of about how much neck he actually has. My design has very little neck, so it's kind of interesting to try to figure out how to balance that out. Animated TV series aired back in the early 2000s. I'm not familiar with it. Was it pretty good? Chris Baxter. Got a question. When doing stylized noses, is it better to block in the shape of the upper, lower, lateral cartilage with one primitive shape, multiple pieces of geometry to define the nostrils? You can. I do know a lot of people that will go through and use separate pieces to be able to define those pieces and kind of be able to get that crease or that separation, that shape separation there. It kind of just depends on kind of what it is that you're looking for. For this particular one, since the nose shape, I wanted it to be kind of more solidified and is a much more simplified and streamlined sort of shape. It just made more sense to block it in with a single shape. So that's kind of how that happened. In fact, I might even have. So yeah, it's an old head. Here's the original block in. You can see this was aiming more at being like specifically directly exactly the same as my concept, so the cheeks are a lot bigger. And then when I went ahead and put it all together, I was like, you know what? It looks like he's like buffing his cheeks out, and it just doesn't work. So anyway, so what I this is how I worked out that nose and the lips and the chin and everything. Um, and so it really just kind of depends on what it is that you're trying to achieve and what it is that'll get you there. So right now, that's kind of what I'm ending up with. Um, yeah, so I'm just going to kind of pull this out a smidgen. Pull out a smidgen, she. Got to smooth this out like a lot. But I think I need the smooth, stronger brush. I can't remember what it is that I need to turn on to get this to like a regular smooth brush to work like the. Where is it? There it is. Smooth, stronger. Okay. So now when I use this, I can go ahead and I can get stuff done a little bit more quickly. Nice. Okay. I'm going to try to be careful around these areas where I have creases because I don't want to ruin the creases. I want to make sure that I'm very in control of how these plane changes happen and how these different aspects of the character's design kind of how they get affected. Let me see. Love the first two seasons. Oh, let me see. I've been sending people my animation. It's a mess as I never focused on keeping proportions right at first. But timing, just as I progressed, I keep on progressing. Yeah, it's good. That's good. Figuring out different parts of it to kind of progress on. It's great. Let's see. Super mega fat baby from the Boss Baby. I actually haven't watched the series. I wanted to work on the film when I was at DreamWorks, but um, yeah, didn't get to. Okay, so right here, I'm just gonna come in and try to kind of work out some silhouette things, some basic shape things that are happening down here along the top and bottom silhouette. Trying to be careful that I don't like super mega smooth everything. Yeah, so with my classes at Noman, what I try to do is I try to also do the homework, just so that the students have an example of somebody who's working in the industry, and also gets makes the time to keep up with the homework. Because I know that a lot of my students have homework, and then they've got work, and then they've got so many things they've got to keep up on. Um, and so I try to do that as like a bit of a motivation to show them, hey, you can do it. If I've got a family and I've got work and I've got um, all these things that are I'm trying to balance, you can figure it out too. Yeah, I mean, if you want to share a link, go ahead, Peter. I can't guarantee I'll see it. That's one of the tricky things with sharing links here. I think there's a feature called Whisper or something like that. You can like send it in a private message if you wanted to. But yeah, try sending it through the chat, because that'll be easier for me to access if it works. Okay. So far, I'm getting issues with like the way that the flesh, the body, the neck, the shoulder here, it's kind of caving in. It's kind of tricky to see. You can kind of see it a little bit more from this angle, it looks like. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just kind of pull out the valleys so I can get more of a rounded shape here. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a shape in there. Just trying to check my forms from different angles. It's important to check it from different angles um, so that you know whether or not something is working, or if you're getting flat shapes, or if it's going to not quite play with the light right. Different things like that. Um, Try pulling that in. Yeah, just trying to fix forms and things like that. I think what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and start adding in color. The color from my from my design is super off. Doesn't feel very natural at all. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into skin shade. Let me see. 'Cause, 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 Maybe a little bit too red. Let me see. Yeah, still too red. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to say a little bit more brown. Let's say maybe something like this for a starting base color. Let's try it. mRGB color fill object. And then for the hair is gonna kind of work with this. So let's go ahead, put in not the matte cap gray, but the startup material. Let's go color fill object. Let's grab the eyebrow. Oh, I guess it's all one single thing there. All right. Let's go ahead and drag this back over. I'm going to check and see. Let's see, window, minimize. Oops. Twitch TV. Not logged into my own stream, so it's okay. Were you able to send the link through? Just to check and verify. I don't see it quite at the moment. Do you want to send it? Do you want to send it again, or yeah? Because it's like I just barely got onto the chat. Or you could send it through the whispers or something like that. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the message about the chubby cheeks. So let's grab the paintbrush. Oh, look at that. That's like doesn't stand out at all. Yeah, so for the eyes so far, yeah, that's pretty much all that I have. But I also have like the eyeballs. How does one get those eyes in real life? Like, are you are you talking about how did they get like naturally? Like, how are they born with those eyes? I'm not sure what the question is. Um, because I mean, like, so Asian eyes are a little bit more forward facing and like structurally, that's just kind of what's going on to give their face the structure that they have. Is that their skull is a little bit more forward facing in the eye region. I don't know exactly what creates the squinty sort of effect, but I do know that it probably has something to do with the way that they have like a less prominent brow region in the skull, and so because of that, there's less bone to kind of support the eyebrow, and so I think that what happens is that the eyebrow tissue kind of sags a little bit and kind of creates that squintier sort of look. I think that's what it does. Oh man, Quentin, you have to surgery. No, don't do surgery. Um, yeah. Well, anyway, hope you had fun, and thanks for thanks for saying hello. But yeah, that's kind of the idea behind it. To my understanding, I could be a little bit off, but I'm gonna add a little bit of like light color variation in here. What this is going to do is it's just going to make them feel a little bit less flat. But what I want to do also is I'm just going to kind of boost the red just a little bit in this region, just a smidge. That's way too much, but dial it back a little bit. And this will probably work pretty well for what I need. I like that it's subtle. You can kind of dial it back in certain areas if I want to, using the regular skin tone. And kind of pull it out a little bit more if I wanted to, as well. Yeah, so something like that's kind of starting to work with the color. That's nice. I do need to model in some eyelashes so that let's go into the hair piece, so that it's the hair subtool, so that we can just keep everything together. Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just kind of create it kind of like this. You too, Quentin. Have a great day. I'm just going to go through and kind of create 5 spans through here. Just a nice little number to work with. Okay, so now that I have this, let's take my draw size all the way down, commit it. Let's hide the mask. And we'll mask the top of that. So now what I want to do is I just want to take the bottom of the eyelash here, just kind of rotate it out. And then we'll just kind of use our Z modeler brush to kind of pull things back and in and whatnot. Let's use slide by brush radius. It's fine. Let's up our brush radius just a little bit. Kind of bring it back and in some. Oops. Just kind of sliding these points around so we can get the shape that we want. Pull that back a couple different directions. Okay. So right now, I want to try to make sure that my shapes are doing what I want them to do. Looking at them from different angles, and it looks like I'm getting the right shape. Okay, so here we go. That's kind of our basic eyelash. Yeah, so that's skin shade 4. It's a great simple little material. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, now one thing that I've got to do before I do anything else, control save, yes. Sloth. Okay. So there is my basic character for this guy. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and bring in my other texture. Let's go ahead. Let's import. Let's go characters. If it'll load up thumbnails, it'd be great. Please. Is not loading up thumbnails. What a pain. Let me see if I can grab this. Okay, so this is one I want. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. Let's add it to Spotlight. Scale it down. I'm going to grab this guy. I'm going to just eliminate him. And then for this, what I want to do is I'm going to grab intensity. Come on, you. Oh, come on, you. Come on. It's not letting me grab the tool that I want for some reason. Maybe it's because that's not selected. Come on. There we go. Paint, and then Control Alt, and then click and drag on the color you want to get rid of. And that'll go through and kind of, key it out. It's really pretty nice. Chris, yes, actually, Gnomon right now is all online. So I don't know quite yet. They haven't announced exactly what's going to happen for winter term, which will be coming up January, probably January 6th, around there somewhere. But I do know that right now, Gnomon has been virtual and has been since the pandemic started. When we were in, let me see. I'm trying to remember if the first term had ended before or after quarantine. I'm pretty sure it ended before quarantine, and then we had an extra couple of weeks where Gnomon was just kind of trying to get everything organized so we could do everything online. And then so summer and fall have both been, or I guess spring, summer, and fall have all been online. And it'll continue to be online until the pandemic is managed. Which is nice for me because then I don't have to drive out to Gnomon. I don't have to drive out to Hollywood to to go to class. I could live in Timbuktu if I wanted to. Yeah, so I'm gonna call this good on Kai. Let's go back. Characters, Kai. Okay, and then I want to make sure that I save my spotlight. So save that spotlight. Go back to characters. Grow. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. Let's look up how to pronounce it. The terms are 10 weeks. You're not able to just kind of jump into the class. I don't think they have enrollment open for this current term anymore. You'd have to check with what's it called, admissions. Gotta see if I can find the pronunciation. Oh, yeah, it's like this is the meaning that I liked was cheerfulness. Let's see if I can find the pronunciation, because that's, oh, there we go. Let's listen to this, see if I can. Gotta mute myself on Twitch because I don't like hearing myself. Here, I'm gonna let's do this on I'm gonna turn on the desktop audio so you guys can hear it too.
洗う洗う
Garau.
洗う
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that right. Garau is kind of what I'm hearing.
洗う
Yeah, something like that, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna start doing, I'm going to take I'm going to leave this alone, and then I'm going to go ahead and actually take this. We'll say clone, Control S, and we will call this Garau 01. Yeah, let me see. So we're in the fall. We're in the fall term right now, and that'll run through the end of the year. It just barely started. That'll run through the end of the year. But again, check with admissions, because if you're wanting to get in now, there's possibly a possibility of being able to get in like that into this term. So, but I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not very familiar with that process at all. Let's grab the skin color here because that's helpful. In fact, maybe I just won't go away. Okay, let's just take our material up to this. So what I want to do is I'm going to essentially let's just take this. We'll say delete the rest, and then I'm just going to start trimming this down. This will start to become extremely different here in a few minutes, but the idea is to just to kind of like have a rough shape in place. Okay. Okay. So this is a sickeningly simple shape. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to go through and kind of make sure that it's sort of matching up with the reference. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead. I'm going to, yeah, it's going to turn perspective on. Let's turn our opacity down. Shoot. Texture, load spotlight. Let's just reload it so we have it in the exact same spot as we saved it. So that way we don't have to worry about like saving out our new views and everything like that. I'm gonna put this in about right there. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to be able to make sure we can go back to that exact same spot and compare the view and the shapes and everything to the concept. So I'm going to open up timeline. I'm going to hit show, okay, and I'm going to hit a mark on there. Go back to movie, hit save, and I'm going to say Goral views. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to start I'm going to start adjusting the far side because I can see where that is lining up or where it's not lining up. So I'm going to start kind of figuring out that stuff. This side I can kind of start bringing up the jawline a little bit. I can start pulling out the chin some. Okay. So this is kind of what it's starting to look like. Okay, now what's nice about this is that I can work in Dynamesh. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have Dynamesh. We're gonna take this down and say Dynamesh. Okay. So for right now, that's really all I need. I don't need it to be super. Thank you, Chris. um, I don't need it to be super dense or anything like that, but I do need it to be enough to hold the shape. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Let's kind of go back to our view. Okay, oops, didn't want that. I do want to kind of trim off some of this back here, so I'm going to use the click curve. And what this is going to do is it's going to essentially flatten it against itself. It's really kind of a nice tool. I want to change back to my regular smooth brush because that's kind of crazy. It's a little bit too strong for my liking. Okay. Just trying to smooth out some forms and things like that. Okay, I'm just trying to true up some shapes, trying to true up some forms and lines. Okay. One of the things I like to do, I want to get these eyes kind of blocked in. So I'm going to use my Damien standard, and you can see like just how tight this model is. I'm definitely not getting enough real estate there to be able to create that face the way I want. So I need to create that real estate. And I'm going to do that by just kind of pulling these sections apart a little bit. Create a little bit more flatness. Now you'll notice that after having done that, it doesn't match up perfectly with that concept. So we got to figure out kind of what we need to do to accommodate that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just kind of drawing on where the eyebrows go to. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of use my clay brush and build that up just a little bit. And then we'll use Damien Standard to kind of figure out exactly where we want his eyes to sit. And that's starting to feel pretty cool, proportion and shape-wise. I think I hit my Velcro on, on the desk. So let's go through. I'm going to kind of play with the plane changes down here. It's getting a little bit gloppy, and I want to make sure that I am controlling the shapes. This guy's going to be a lot he's going to have a lot harder edges, a lot more harder edges than Kai does, because Kai's a sweet little kid, and this is an old man that's drives drives an ice cream truck. Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to figure out kind of where different landmarks go. And I'm going to start blocking in. In fact, I don't like how tilted back it is. So let's go ahead. Do something like this. This way I can get a little bit better of a of a view line up. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and save this one over the top of the other one. I'm going to sketch in the mouth. Damien standard. And I'm just kind of worrying about half of it. I don't have to worry about the whole mouth because it's like if I worry about just one half, it's going to take care of the other half for me, as you can see. So it's nice. Okay, like I said, just blocking that in. Okay. Now let's see. This is practically exactly like my demo from Nomen from last week, just so that anybody who's interested in seeing kind of what the class is like, this is kind of what a demo is like for these classes. I'm going to try kind of giving a little bit more of a roundness to these cheeks, just the way that they kind of round the form rather than round like shape wise. I don't want it to be perfectly flat. I want it to have a little bit of a curve here. And it's starting to have that shape that I think I'm liking right now. I'm going to block in that nose. Oops. I am in primitives. So with this, okay, so this is essentially kind of where this nose is landing right now. I have to decide whether this will work for me or if I have to come in through here and say, let's take the clay brush. Essentially build this up just a little bit. And then add in the nose. Hey snakes, how you doing? So now with this particular shape, I do want to kind of, oops. I do want to be aware of some plane changes and keep those very controlled. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to add a little piece for the nose. Let's make the brush about the same size as the nose, and then we can just kind of drag that out. Actually, let's just go ahead and just hold shift, drag it out until it's about the same size. Reposition it. Okay, and now we can reshape it. Israel finally opened? Dude, so you can like go to the grocery store and have like a belated New Year and things like that now. that's awesome. Are you going to go and do anything with your family now that it's opened? Okay, sorry, I just got an email from one of my students who needed to reach out so we could get her started on her assignments. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, I'm going to mask out half of it, and then let's go ahead and kind of shrink the top half of it. What this is going to do is, oh, you're an essential worker. So what do they have defined as essential workers in Israel? Because that's kind of interesting. I know that here in LA, it'd be things like, doctors and um, what's it called? Grocery store workers, um, anybody who does like garbage pickup or those types of things. Um, Here they do street sweeping. I don't know. I don't know if they do that everywhere. I know that they did it in Chile. I know that they didn't do it where I grew up in Utah. um, it's kind of a different allocation, I guess, of funding and yeah, it's really really flat. So I'm going to take this and kind of pull the bridge of the nose out. So I'm just going to kind of like play with that nose a little bit, have it come out just a little bit. Um, okay, so for right now, this is starting to work. I do need to play with, pardon me, with some of the shapes in the bottom of the nose here, because what's happening is that, so one of the things that, um, one of the things that you'll see in like Asian noses or Pacific Islander noses is or even some African nation black people noses. You'll get kind of indigenous people. You'll get kind of like a turning of the nose. So it's like the bottom of the nose where the nostrils are is almost kind of like turned down a little bit. Like the middle part down here is kind of like pulled up a little bit. Um, I probably won't exaggerate that too much, and we'll have to see kind of how it evolves as we add more detail and figure more of this out for a little bit later after I've really kind of figured out more about the form of the face overall. I do want to make sure that the top eyelid is kind of making a form in that sort of sense, like that. That's not close enough. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this over just a little bit. I don't want to pull in too much. I don't want to ruin the shape of the nose. I kind of like the way that the nose is. I might have to break it up a little bit. Might have to change it some. But right now, that's kind of working. Let's use a mask. I love masks. I love how handy they are in getting things to be the way that you need them to be. Yeah, so you see we're starting to get a little bit more of that eye shape in there, kind of going side to side. So you get like a little bit more of like a roundedness. Um, you got to think about when you're thinking about shapes, you want to think about how the face isn't completely flat going across. Um, so I'll have to kind of play with the cheeks a little bit here. But you also have to think about how the eyes, the things that the forms of what's underneath. Yeah, new character. So I was working on some stuff for class. I was like, this isn't something that I need to keep secret, so might as well just stream it. Okay, that's working. So now with the lips, I do want to try to make sure that I keep kind of like this old sort of shape where it's like it's a very kind of almost like he's toothless or something, you know. I think I might kind of build this up a little bit, round it out some. I think it plays with the shape a little bit better. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to push the bottom of the chin out just a little bit. And I'm not sure yet if I'll keep the sharp corners or not. It might end up be like I might take it back and make it a lot rounder. You know, like take these corners in, just kind of round it out some. Oh boy, got a phone call coming in from Salt Lake, and I really don't answer phone calls from anywhere else if I don't have the number, because honestly, I don't know if it's just propaganda stuff for campaign season, which we're in the middle of. Okay, so we're going to take this, we're just going to kind of smooth this out. So we're going to let this kind of be more of just like a defining shape right in here. Kind of smooth this top part out, smooth that out, and then we get a little bit better of a crease kind of going in between. And then let's play with a little bit of this, get a little bit more of those jowls kind of pulled in. And so long as it doesn't break the silhouette a ton over on this side, I think we're good. Because that'll help him to feel a little bit older. Oh, they left a voicemail. How about that? I'm going to listen to it real quick. Give me just a second. Okay, I might have to go for a few minutes. That was a call that I think I may need to return here. We'll have to see. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of leave this here for a few minutes, and I'll turn off my sound and I'll jump on that call real quick, and I'll be back on in just a few minutes. Okay. Okay, we're back. All right, let's get this going some more. Let me see. Yeah, it's definitely challenging to make it look good from all angles, and a lot of it comes down to like um, how the forms how the forms kind of mold into each other. So like right here, I'm trying to get this line from the top of the nose. They call it the laugh line sometimes, the nasolabial fold. It kind of goes down and it goes around the outside of the cheek a little bit here. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make that work nicely with the way that the rest of the character is going. All right, kind of check the way that the contour, the like how it's flowing down. Mike. How you doing, dude? Okay, let me see. That's turning out all right. We'll see later, kind of how we feel like the rest of it's going, but gonna block things in. Okay, so he's got these massive ears, and I don't know for sure what it is that is what like how it is that I'm going to have it connect. 70 days until Christmas. So long as USA gets a new president for Christmas, that'll be a great Christmas. I drew the concept art. The concept is my own. This is a concept that I did back when I was in school, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to go through and kind of continue the project. It's such a fun project, and I really want to go through and carry it to fruition. And right now, I just so happen to have a little bit of time. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be playing with a little bit here. Let's go ahead and put in the ears. So to be able to put in ears, here's what I do. I'm going to go ahead and say flatten. We'll kind of flatten the front side, flatten the back side. So now we got like this disc. Okay. I kind of like having them point out a little bit like that. That's kind of fun. I probably won't have them stay pointed out like straight like that because that's a little bit too much. But having it point out a little bit, it's kind of fun. Okay, I need to make sure that it's kind of lining up with like the middle of the head, sort of in that sort of way. So let's go ahead and pull this back and pull this forward. Okay. And now it's all about making the right shape. Now, I think I might kind of improve upon this shape a little bit. I'm gonna have to kind of try to check and see what it is that I like. I'm liking the rounder shape here and a little bit of the sag. I think that that kind of makes him feel older, but it also helps him to feel friendly and approachable. So I might just leave that the way that is. Okay. And then for the back of the ear, what I want to do, let's do this. I am going to say, let's get rid of the front half. Okay, let's get Control W so we can get that. Oh, you know what? Control Shift S and then Control W, because then that'll give me something to select. I'm just going to go ahead and use this, kind of pull it out. Okay. And there we go. We got like a basic ear shape in there. Okay, super, super simple. Right now I have Dynamesh turned off, which is just fine. I am going to make sure that my ears are all one poly group. The nose, yeah, we could probably go ahead and just merge it into the face. And I'm going to leave groups on. We'll say Dynamesh. Maybe not. Let's turn off groups. Turn off blur. Let's put this up to like 256. And now it's Dynamesh, because this will be a little bit nicer to work with. One of the things I want to start to do every time I kind of up my resolution, I do like a general smoothing pass and then a general detailing pass. So I'll go through, kind of smooth over all these crisp edges so that I can get smooth forms and shapes. Get rid of all the faceting from lower topology from the previous stage. And then I can go through and I can start kind of cleaning up some of these forms. So right now, one of the things I want to do, I have my damp standard turned on. I'm going to take my stroke, my radius, and pull it up to like 60 something. Not really a huge method to the madness, just kind of making sure that it's enough to control the amount of pull. And I'm just kind of going through and building out some main shapes. And this is going to help me to make sure that I can kind of, keep track of these form changes. Again, this is still kind of like a sketching sort of phase, so it's going to stay pretty rough. There are going to be some things that need to be tweaked or that need to be changed entirely. A lot of what I'm trying to do is figure out exactly how I want this nose design to go, because currently he has like a very like you can see kind of like the plane changes I designed into it, and so I'm trying to decide how much of that I want to actually include in the design. I think I want to widen the nose just a little bit. Okay, I feel like that's kind of helping the design some to have a bit of a contrast between round shapes and pointed shapes. It's kind of a fun little design principle. Okay, so now we're starting to get a little bit cooler of a shape, a little bit of a flow. And I'm trying to make sure that this shape doesn't get too pointed. The profile will have a little bit more of a point to it, but yeah, definitely trying to. In fact, let's see if we can kind of play with a little bit more of like a rounded cherry nose. Okay, so now we've got that sort of thing going on. trying to decide. Yeah, it's a little bit too messy. So I'll probably have to up my resolution before I can kind of get that to stay nice. And I mean, this is starting to look really cool. I'm really kind of liking how the shapes are starting to come along. The nose is working a lot better for me. I may try to take the bridge of the nose back a little bit further. I think that it's kind of coming out. Maybe I don't know. Let's try this just for the sake of trying it. I tell my students all the time it's important to not be afraid to try things, and so figure might as well take my own advice, right? Okay, so we're going to take this, turn off perspective, and just kind of like rotate that back. Yeah, so I'm trying to look at a couple of things. I want to try checking to keep the bridge of the nose kind of in a straight line, see how that looks. I'm liking how this is starting to come along, but I think that this might need to come down a little bit further. Ooh, happy mistake. I like the way that the nose kind of created that bump right there. Okay, so I'm going to make that a feature. Let's go ahead. Let's pull this back. Let's kind of clean up some of these shapes. Okay, so I'm gonna actually make it so that it gets down a little bit more narrow right here, and then have it get so that it gets to be a little bit wider right here, and then taper back down. Have a little bit of kind of like a whoosh kind of coming in through here. Um, and that is starting to work. Now with these parts of the nose, it might be worthwhile to take, instead of having it be just like flat, maybe having it be so that it kind of goes flat and then kind of goes down rounded at the bottom. So having this essentially so that it kind of comes and follows a path more down to here rather than down to here. So I'm going to try that. And then I'm going to take trend dynamic and make it kind of nice. Yeah, I think it needs to go back a little bit further. So I'm just going to use my move brush, just kind of like pull on it some. Just going to pull on that. And I'm wanting to try to make sure, check it from different angles, like we do with everything else. Okay. Sounds like somebody might be doing something with the hose. You know what? I bet it's my wife kind of cleaning off the table in the back. My kids had this. So for my son's birthday, he got this like dinosaur excavation kit, and so it's like all these little like chalk eggs or something like that. You gotta like dig the dinosaur toy out of the chalk egg. Um, play with that. So rounded on the top, kind of flattened on the bottom. Okay. So one of the things I want to do is I want to play with how the inside of the ear goes. And I need to make sure that I'm kind of keeping a similar sort of style with how Kai's ear goes so that there's consistency in the character design style. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we are going to pull Kai in over here, Shift S, and we're going to use that as our reference. So I'm going to use clay to kind of build this up. Now when I went through to create this, I used masking and just kind of pushed it back. I've already got kind of like a hollow in here, and so I'm going to kind of build it up a little bit before I try pushing it back. Yeah. So now we've got this. Let's kind of flatten that down a little bit. Good. Now, what I might try to do, purely because it might be important to the design, making the design feel a little bit more solid, I'm going to try to come over here and kind of unifying the flow of the edges here. It's like it gets a little bit lumpy along the outside. Yeah, let's just kind of smooth that down some. All right. So now what we can do is I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take, masking this section right here, and then I'm going to unmask the part that belongs to anything else that I don't want to move. Masking is such a helpful tool. Okay, so now I'm just going to come in, oh, come on, and just push it in. Smooth it out a little bit down there. And that's looking pretty good. My wife fixed the garbage disposal. There's a reset button? Oh man. It's like I had no idea. I was seriously working on that thing for like an hour last night. And of course she works smart and so she got it. uh, she's awesome. Okay, so it has too uniform of a shape. So I'm going to try changing some things so that it's a little bit less uniform. Okay, so get a little bit more thick to thin sort of flow going on in here, and then changing the acceleration of the curve, which means that it's going to be going and it's going to change instead of being like a gentle whoosh going around. It's going to be more like an out, up, over, and kind of breaking up that curve a little bit. Okay, I might go through and kind of break up the shape of this square or this ear. Give it a little bit more of an irregular sort of shape, just because that might help it to feel more designed, more controlled. Just kind of smoothing this down, trying to flatten it out. I'm going to turn down that lazy mouse. It's too strong right now. Okay. That's getting cooler. Okay, so one of the things I want to do is the head right there, kind of where the base of the ear is. I want to take that in a little bit. It's coming out a little bit too far. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get my nice big move brush. Just kind of push that in. Okay, it's getting to be a little bit too much right there. Then we'll just kind of come back and we'll just go back and forth until we get the right shape. And then we're going to have to kind of point up this ear so that it's got a little bit tidier of a transition. I do want to decide, for instance, ears don't really have like a super sharp transition right there. Although typically I will create a pretty sharp transition. I just want to go through and kind of make sure that I'm getting a shape that feels like it fits and works for this character. Okay, so it's kind of coming through, redefining some creases. I'm just going to kind of carve this out just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I think I do still kind of want to pull that down and in a little bit. So let's try something like this. Oops. Get a little bit more of an angle. Let's grab this. Oop, that's not what I want. Give it a little bit more shape. And that'll hopefully help it to feel a little bit nicer. Okay. How about that? That is starting to work. Yeah, so this character, so the little boy over here in the corner, his name is Kai. Okay, and then this man, his name is Garou. He just a little bit of backstory. This particular character, Garou, he is a Japanese refugee. You know, he fled his home, you know, during the Great War, trying to get away from bombings and the hard things that were happening around his home, and settled down in Kai's neighborhood. And just, you know, started selling ice cream. He's the ice cream man. So that's what Garou does. Kai is just a little boy that loves ice cream. So so yeah, that's really working for me. Okay, time to save it because I don't know that I've saved any of it. So so let's save it. A lot of ice cream. Yeah, so this guy is pretty cool so far. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert cylinder, and I want to use my reference. Let's go ahead and Control N. I want to match up with my reference so that I can get the neck about the way that I want it. Just to be able to test it in 3D. If that works, then great. If not, then we'll just try whatever's next. Let's kind of scale this out first. Oops. Okay, so that looks like it's kind of matching up with what the reference is showing. I do like the ears the way they are here better than they are here. They feel more controlled and more designed. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's go ahead and take this and we will rotate it down. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I could take that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go through and start kind of blocking in. Well, let's block in the shoulders too, just because we're here, might as well. Let's go ahead and flatten the bottom. Okay, accept, and we'll just widen it out some. I do need this to come down further. Let's go ahead and put it about right there for right now. And then we'll, let's turn off perspective. How long does that neck need to be? Yeah, it feels about right. Okay, and then we're just kind of blocking in the shoulders area. We're not really going to go any further than this today. Unmask the chin a little bit there. Yeah, I think something like that works pretty nicely. Let me see, what other deformers do I tend to use on a normal basis? I've only seen the bend deformer and haven't messed around with the rest. They look really helpful. Yeah, so the flatten is really useful. Let me see. I guess let's go into the deformer and kind of check it out. Taper is really useful. I use that one a ton. Flatten is really useful. I've used deformer, but not as much. Bend arc and bend curve are really nice. I know that I've used extender too. I don't see it. There it is, extender. And what that one will do, let me show you what that does. This is, oh, here, let's go ahead and turn off symmetry, because what it's saying is that I don't like symmetry. So if I were to go through and use extender on this, you'll see it'll put an edge loop right in the middle and extrude it out. It can be really helpful. Obviously, it's not for this particular instance, for this particular application, but you know, it's interesting. And it's good because it's clean topology, so it's going to only give you like a linear extrude. Um, so it's really helpful for if you're modeling something out that's um, modeling something out that's that you need to keep clean topology, but you want to extend it out some, get an edge loop that's right in the center there. That's a great way to do it. Okay, I do want to up my resolution, so I'm going to take this up to 512. Okay, I always try to work in like a double or half sort of method for my Dynamesh stuff. You see, like right there, it's super up-resed everything, which is nice. Um, Essentially, what this is going to do is going to allow me to see like if I've gone far enough or if I haven't gone far enough, you know. Um, so it's going to allow me to kind of go through, and that's maybe smoothing it out a little bit too aggressively in that ear. I'm going to kind of smooth it out to kind of average out the points. And then I'll go ahead and I will do a cleanup pass. Oh no! I was like, why is it different on each side? It's because the symmetry is off. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just going to try to fill in this little gap down here. Okay. Smooth that out. Okay. Oh, my knee. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding the creases for different things like the mouth back in. Just going to pull that down some. Kind of uh, I need to bring in that lazy radius a little bit more, closer to 60-ish. That way I can get a cleaner sweep. Okay, let's do a longer, cleaner sweep. Okay, something like that. Okay, so we got some powerful shape language kind of coming in here, and we got to be careful that we're not over vigorous with these shapes. I mean, I'm trying to go through and be considerate of how far I take these creases, um, both distance wise and intensity. Um, Smooth that out. Let's add in a crease up here. And then add a peak in the opposite direction. Okay. Let's kind of play with these shapes just a little bit. Maybe give it a little bit friendlier of a curve there. Okay. This sort of stage, when you're doing concept sculpting, it's all about the concept. It's all about finding the design. So it takes a little while sometimes. Um, Especially since this is something that I am basing off of an existing design, but I'm trying to improve upon it, um, which I feel like I have to quite a degree, which is great. Um, Sometimes that stroke takes a few times. All right. I'm just trying to be kind of conservative in the sense of, well, not conservative. I'm trying to make sure that I am very aware of what is happening with the different plane changes, with the forms, making sure that things stay clean. Because if things get messy, then there's not going to be a whole lot of hope for me in making this design very appealing. Let's actually take this portion of the nose, maybe pull it up some. Okay. So now that's starting to work. Now this is starting to work. Yes. Oh, this guy's gonna be so cool, guys. This guy's gonna be so cool. It's making me think about the old guy from Cabbages. Oh my goodness. My cabbages! It's like if he were to be really old. So right here, I'm just kind of try to put in just a little bit of a hint at anatomy. Since he is a lot leaner than Kai, poor Kai, we will probably get some sort of like collarbone buildup over here. Okay. Okay, kind of dig that in a little bit more. And we might go through and kind of play with it some more at some point, but for right now, we're just going to kind of worry about other aspects. Here's what I'm going to do. I need to be able to see this, but not the head. So just kind of like get rid of everything else. Anything I don't need to see, just hide it. Okay. I am really liking... No, let's not turn that on. Come on. There we go. It's a little bit better. Some of these forms are a little bit lumpy, and it'll be a lot easier to clean these up once I have clean topology, because the topology will be clean and it'll be yeah. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes. You just gotta kind of wait until you have what you need. Let's see. I'm just going to kind of build this up. I don't like that weird little crease down in there, and so I'm just going to kind of smooth this out a little bit, and that'll help to unify those surfaces. Okay. You know what? I might go ahead and just add in just a little bit of anatomy through here. Not a lot. In fact, I need to get lazy mouse on. It's too much for sure, but let's go ahead and just have lazy mouse on just a little bit. I guarantee it's not the longest sternocleidomastoid, or whatever it's called, muscle. Because if you've ever seen a giraffe, sorry, just being smart. Okay, I'm going to use the clip curve. We're just going to kind of come in here, and the nice thing about the clip curve is that it respects symmetry, so it'll do it on both sides. Not all of these tools will, and so it's just helpful. Just helpful to know kind of which ones. And that's definitely like too natural of a shape. So I think what I'm going to do, let's kind of block it more. Give it a shape that's much more stylized. Oh, it's because I got that lazy mouse on. Ah. Pull that out. Yeah, so it's just going to be kind of like a little bit of pushing and pulling and trying to figure out how these shapes are going to work together, and how to uphold the shape language. Okay. Make the brush a little bit bigger and it can pull a little bit better. Alright. This needs to be a little bit more curved down here at the bottom. It's too straight. Somebody is doing a giraffe at crochet. If you look up Bitan, on Instagram, he does a ton of animal crochets. His company, the company that he owns, that's what they do. Is they do these really cool animal crochet statues, And I don't know when they're planning on doing a giraffe. I know that it's in the queue. Um, but yeah, super super cool. I love their crocodile. They have some amazing stuff. And then I know that Maria Paniflova, she has done a lion, and that was really cool. She has that up for sale on her Gumroad, I think. Um, all right, that's looking pretty decent. It's always exciting when you're working on a character that you're excited about and it's starting to turn out. And you can look at it and be like, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, so now that we've got, yeah, let's go ahead and save it so that we don't lose it. Um, Interesting. Save that, replace it, yes. Okay, so now we've got Garao and we've got head. We've got Kai. So what I want to do is we need to go ahead and block in the hair. Um, See how you worked it out. Yeah, it's true. That's one of the benefits to being able to stream is that you can go back and see what it is that you made and how you made it and things like that. Um, I mean, the hope at some point is that I'll be able to go ahead and monetize my streams. So I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I have like 950 some odd followers, and so it's I'm getting there. I'm getting there, and then eventually I'll be able to essentially monetize the stream so that I can get a cut of the ads that run at the beginning of the videos. Yeah, still a little ways to go, but that's how it is. Tweak that a little bit. Now, this particular character will probably never open. Well, maybe he will. I don't know. I'm trying to decide, um, based on the story, if he will ever actually open his eyes. And that's something that's really important to consider because if your characters don't, I mean, you got to think about the functionality of your assets, what it is that you're modeling. Let's kind of go through here. Um, yeah, you got to think about the functionality, and if you neglect to think about the functionality, then you don't give yourself that opportunity um, to really think about how much work is actually necessary. You don't want to be going through and modeling in a belly button on a character if that belly button is not important or if it's never going to be seen. Uh, like for instance, none of the characters on How to Train Your Dragon, unless they're like bare chested, they don't have any belly buttons, and you don't model the nipples in, and things like that. It's like it's very much just what you need, and that's just kind of how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, on Bitan, yeah, his art station, all the cool animals, and then Jackie Chan's face, and then more animals, and then Jet Li's face, and then yeah, yeah, he's really really cool. In fact, when we were in the ZBrush Sculpt Off the same year in 2016, I think it was. Maybe it was seven. No, it was 2016. So 2016, and he was sitting right next to me. He was on the organic side. I was on the hard surface side, and we both started off from a sphere the exact same way, and I'm just like, I look over my shoulder, like, oh, he started from a sphere too. That's pretty neat. And then 5 minutes in, I start having like technical issues, and so like I look over my shoulder again, and he's got like this head all blocked out and everything. I'm just like, oh. It's like he got I think the bulk of his sculpting done, like the blocking and everything in the first 20 minutes, and then the rest of it was just detailing for the next hour, and then he continued like pushing and pushing and pushing and coloring, and then he started working on the rendering the last hour. And man, the dude's just awesome, so cool, and he's super nice too. Like at the ZBrush Summit, he always takes some time to just chat with me for a little bit. It's nice. Let's go ahead and play with how that transition happens a little bit lower, so that you get a little bit of like a little bit of a dip right in there. I'm going to add a little bit of an update to Instagram so that I probably won't go for very much longer on this, maybe in the next half hour. But I'm going to go ahead and insert a swipe up link just to twitch.tv/smartist. Done. Put that in stories. Sweet. All right. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and block in hair and eyebrows. Um, so original. Okay, so the original design of this guy. Let me see if I can pull something like that up, because it was fun. Let me see. So there's the design we're looking at. Okay, so there's some like old pieces. You can see he's got like this little like barely there mustache kind of coming in. And in fact, I actually sketched him out to be missing a couple of fingers. Um, we'll have to see whether or not we keep that, or we'll see. We might also give him a little bit of a crooked ear. That's kind of how the original design was. You see this, it's got like a little bit of a shapely ear. But I don't know. We'll have to see kind of how it is that we feel like it's coming along when we get more of the stuff done. This is old. This is so old. This is like 2011, I think. Um, Maybe 2012. So it's kind of crazy. Um, So I actually won't use ZRemesher at all on these. I'll do manual retopology using ZBrush, but it will not be for a little while. Um, let's see. It's gonna pull that out there. Pull this down. Yeah, it's a little bit too parallel. Like I don't want it to be parallel. Yeah, I'll worry about those sorts of details later. So yeah, essentially I'm just gonna stay in Dynamesh until I'm ready to do retopology, and I'm only going to do retopology with like the topology brush and ZModeler and things like that inside of ZBrush. For right now, what I want to do, let's go ahead, let's come over here and grab the sphere and pull that out. And I want to split this out. I want this to be its own thing, so split unmasked. I'm going to say Control Shift D so that we can have the head to kind of go back to. But then I want to go ahead and name this head. And then let's go through, we'll name this hair. Okay, so what I want to do, let's go ahead and do select lasso. Okay, so we'll go ahead and delete hidden on that. In fact, I'm going to get rid of this end cap. So let's say delete hidden. And yeah, let's go ahead. So the reason why I'm not going through and kind of making something that's a little bit less dense in order to do this, like using a cube and smoothing it out or whatever. The hair is something that I'll go through and kind of block in with something that's more low poly and easier to control and things like that. I'm going to kind of control the spacing on these edge loops here. Okay, so here's where I'm going to want to try to use things like my taper. Just to kind of, oh shoot, use my taper just a little bit just to be able to kind of control the shape just a little bit more. I don't know. I'm trying to think if I want to do like a rounder shape or a, yeah, we'll do something like this. Well, we probably don't even need it. Let's just go ahead and play with this the way it is. Let's kind of scale it out some. Yeah, these modifiers are super, super amazing. I honestly don't know where I'd be without them. They make so many things much more accessible. In fact, maybe this is one of the ways that I can go ahead and use this. I'm going to go ahead and say bend arc. Okay, now watch this. Okay, so we have the different directions we can go through and we can bend it. I'm going to use this one, I think. Not that one. There we go. And then we can kind of, oh, turn on symmetry. The thing that I wanted to be able to accomplish with that is getting the bend in the topology here. Okay, so I was able to do that. Let's kind of smooth that a little bit. I'm just going to kind of pull this down some. Now, what I'm trying to achieve with the hair, I want to try to see like the shape of this little piece right back here. I want to make sure that that's a good continuation of the shape of the head. So I want to see like the head kind of roll off over the shape of the hair, especially since he's bald on top and he's got like his hair on the sides. I want to make sure that the shape is a good continuation, that we see kind of the head roll into the shape of the hair. From the top, it could be a little bit different. We're going to get a little bit of like a sag from the hair, and so it's going to have a little bit of compression at the bottom, and so have it be like a little bit more, I guess, bunched up or come out a little bit further down at the bottom. But something like that works really pretty nicely. So we're going to do this. I'm going to take Control A. Let's go ahead, we'll say accept. Oops. Center that. Kind of scale it in a little bit. Okay, something like that. That's working. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to think about the rest of the hair kind of coming out. So we're going to say, let's start with this hexagon. Essentially, all I'm going to do is drag out the hexagon. This is going to be the section of like the ponytail tie, and we're definitely going to want to use our taper for this, and kind of get it so that it's nice and thin here at the end, and keep it kind of thick here at the base. Let's hit accept, and then we'll just kind of scale it out. I might need to go ahead and take this section, this end of the hair, of this chunk right here, and essentially just take it and just kind of like rotate it down, pull it down some, because oops, come on, Control A, there we go. Just gonna kind of mask that out. Then we're just going to kind of rotate and pull it down in place so that it lines up better with the ponytail. Then we also want to try to make sure that this okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take both of these together, kind of pull it down. Try to make sure that the shapes are aligning nicely and being, like you said, quick, seamless. Have it be a little bit nicer. Oops, that's not what I want. Make sure symmetry's on. It's like, you should just read my mind. Then we'll just kind of move the rest of this kind of into place. Okay. Something like that is working pretty nicely. So in my original design, he had like this nasty goiter where it's like this bulb of mass that it wasn't even like well designed. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. Um, I must have closed it down. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of funny. So it's nicer to have him at this sort of stage where he's definitely much better thought out. I mean, he's had 10 years to stew in my little crock pot here, slow cooker. I'm just going to kind of pull these around and make sure that I'm kind of refining this shape some. It's looking good. All right. So since this is the hair piece, I'm going to go ahead and add in the eyebrows. Let's say topology. And what I want to do, I mean, his eyebrows here are not very big. I'm going to try to experiment with making them a little bit bigger. So we're going to say something like this. Yeah, I certainly have a better skill set now than I did, 10 years ago when I made this originally. It's really kind of an interesting challenge going through and trying to remake things. Um, Here we go, something like that. Make it 1, commit that. And now what I can do is I can just go ahead and use deformation and hit inflate just a little bit, just to bring it to the outside. Okay, I'm liking how that's looking. I am liking this. Okay. Okay, cool. It's exciting to see this character come to life like this. I have thought about this character for such a long time. And I've wanted to make him come to life for such a long time. Yeah, Shane does use the topology brush a lot in his workflow as well. Um, that's definitely something that we share. It's a really great technique. I don't know if he uses it to actually build topology, but I do know that he uses it like I do to be able to make be able to make eyebrows and eyelashes. Um, I'm not entirely sure if I will give Godal eyelashes. I probably will. I probably ought to. Okay. So now we've got that. Let's go ahead. Let's add in. Let's add in polysphere. What we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use this to create the rest of the ponytail, really. um, Now what I want to do is I want to think about, in essence, like what the shape is that I'm trying to go for. And I think what I want to do is I want to take, let's start off with the extender. Where is it? Extender. I'm going to extend it out. Okay. Let's bring this down some. I'm going to come in, say accept. Move it down some. Okay, so now we've got this. I mean, it's a lot thicker, a lot bigger than we want, so we'll have to definitely play with it some. But we're going to use the taper, and we're going to taper down the end of the hair. Let's use the taper down a little bit up here as well. Okay, so with this, let's hit accept. Bring this up, make it so that it's rotated down. And then what I want to do is I just want to go ahead and add in a couple of edge loops. So what I'm going to do is let's use our Z modeler brush. Insert, I'm going to use multiple edge loops. Okay, good. I still have things masked off. Okay. Bring this back up. Let's go ahead. I'm going to use this bend curve. And what I want to do is I want to start off by changing the direction because that's a terrible direction. And we'll start with the 3 dots. And we'll just kind of start pulling it around. Now, at a certain point, you're going to need to add more points. That's just inevitable. But starting off with just the 3 points really helps so that you can go ahead and get, let's go ahead and scale it out a little bit here. It helps you to be able to maintain control, and that's good. Go ahead and scale that out a little bit as well. Okay, let's say accept. And there we go. We got a nice little piece. Yeah, definitely a lot easier than using the lattice in Maya. A lot of times what I'll do actually, if I needed to create a shape like this or deform a shape to make that shape, I would actually use like multiple bend deformers, like arc. What are those called in Maya? Yeah, bend arc. I think it's something like that, right? Yeah, it gets kind of tricky. Make sure my symmetry's on. Let's pull this around so that it's making the right shape there. All right. Okay, so there is our basic character. Now, one of the things I can do is I can go through and I can start controlling the basic shape of this hair, get maybe like enforce a little bit of like a plane change idea in here. It may or may not be something that I keep. I don't know. I'll have to see. But it's a way for me to be able to ideate and be able to figure out exactly what it is that I want in the end. Okay, maybe take this and kind of push it up or something. Yeah. Oh, dude. You are looking snazzy, if I do say so myself. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. Let's turn the opacity up on this. Let's grab the color from the, oh shoot, from the eyebrows. Cancel. Stop it. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say fill object. And then for the hair, I want it to be more of kind of like a silvery sort of color. So we're gonna be a lot less um, dark in color. So let's go ahead and say color fill object, and that's pretty good. I like that. Okay, this needs to be more of that red, so I'll turn that back on. Z, let's go ahead and grab the color from the hair tie. Decide if we like it. Decide if we like something else better. Maybe this one. Let's use this one. Okay, so we're gonna go over here. Let's capture that. And we shall say brush, not brush, sorry, color, fill object. Okay, so now we've got that blocked in. Let's go back over to Kai so we can get our skin tone colors. Oh man, this dude is looking awesome. Awesome. Skin shade. Let's go ahead and we'll say MRGB color fill object. Okay, and let's grab our paintbrush. Since this has all of our cool texture stuff applied to it, grab the color from the cheeks, and we'll start applying. I'm trying to apply kind of lightly so that I can build up to what I want. You see, like if I go too heavy, then it's a little bit harder to control. But I think it's kind of what I need anyway. So maybe I'll just go ahead and give him slightly different. Give him like a heavier red here on his cheeks and on his nose, on his ears. It might be a little bit too heavy, but we'll see. All about playing. Okay, I kind of bring some of it back by using the normal tone. You just kind of play back and forth a little bit. All right. Nice and easy over the ears. Certainly makes them look a lot fleshier. Now if I take it over to this side, give it a little bit less saturation, should be able to make the underneath the eyes appear a little bit more. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. Let's give it a little bit of this pink color, just kind of mix it in. That'll be a little bit better for me. See, I'm trying to keep it nice and subtle. With stylized characters, you don't want to go overboard unless it's a style that you're looking for. For this in particular, I don't really care to go super heavy with the textures at this stage. This is all just kind of me figuring out a look, figuring out a feel. And actually, I might need to go ahead and grab this and maybe pull it a little bit more this direction. Let's see. It's way yellow. Let's go ahead and take this. Let's take this over here even. Yeah, that'll work. Let's make it nice and light and simple. But this will help to kind of pull in the idea that he's got, that he can grow facial hair just by changing that color a little bit. And pull it in up the sideburn area a little bit. Yeah, there we go. There we go. This is looking cool. I really, really like that simple shape too. Yeah, this looks so much cooler than the old concept. Yeah, that color zones of the face look. Yeah. I mean, I might try to go even like really pretty heavy. I'm still trying to decide on like texture wise what it is that I want to achieve. Let me see if I can find. Pretty sure his name is Bob, but I need to remember now. Um, Bob. That's kind of cool. I think I follow Megan on Instagram, but I don't remember this mermaid. I'll have to check that out later. Oh my goodness, where is that cool dude? And it's like he just posted this really cool. In fact, maybe that's how I can find him. I'll just come over to ArtStation because he had just posted this really neat thing like today or yesterday or something like that. And it's been on the front page since it got posted. Ah, that's funny. Super exaggerated. Here we go. It's not even Bob, it's Borislav. Oh my goodness. So I love the way that Borislav goes through and does his like texture and color and everything like that. Super super good. Like I love this the super painterly sort of style. Let's see if we can get to that one because this is an amazing stylistic look. Let's see if we can get back. It looks like it's only just this image. But look at that. That's amazing. And it's got like these subtle like these subtle color variants. But then it does, it looks definitely like a stop motion or toy animation sort of thing. And that's, I love that look. So cool. So yeah, this is like one of my favorite little pieces of reference is this guy specifically. Very cool. So I don't know. I might go through and try to do something kind of similar like that. But I got to try to figure out what I would want to do for skin because like if we look at skin, the way that he in particular handles skin, you can see like William BC. Some of these might not be. Let's keep more of the newer stuff probably. This one is good. Let's look at this one. So very kind of simple sort of flesh color variation. Um, Super cool. And then on William BC, you can see he's got like this. Yeah, it's really just super simple for the skin part of it. But then he's got very heavy emphasis on like cavity and edge sort of. Here, I'll go ahead and I'll send you the link to his profile because the dude's a stud. I mean, he is so good. Bob. Yeah, no, not Bob. Borislavkechashki. Kichashki. I don't know. He's from Bulgaria, and so he's it's a very different sort of everything. I'm not even the slightest bit familiar with um, how a lot of those names are pronounced. This is one of my favorites from him. Very beautiful color variations, subtle. But then I love the way that he was able to pull the concept and put it into like such an amazing sculpt. So cool. This is easily one of my favorite 3D sculpts ever because of how beautifully he handled the shape design and the just everything. I have no complaints at all about this one. It's so amazing. I look at his stuff and then I go back to my own stuff and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so there is Grau. In fact, I do. I need to put in some eyelashes. So let's do this. We'll go into the hair. We'll say topology. Pull that up. And then I'm just going to draw out down here. Let's go ahead, let's pull that one out. Pull that one out. Pull that one, and nerds. This one. Okay. And then turn our brush size to 1, commit it. And then let's make sure that we are masking out the right areas. Come on. Here we go. Now we can go ahead and we can adjust our eyelashes. Let's say color. Well, you know what? Let's make sure this is the right material too. Color fill object. Oh, come on. RGB intensity all the way up. All right. And now we can go through and really play with the shape of this. That feels like it's about where it needs to be. So now I'm just going to take my Z modeler and just kind of pull that in. Okay, so now it's just a matter of making sure that I'm getting the right shapes from different angles. That looks like it's getting a little bit messy, so I'm just going to tweak how this flows. Okay, there we go. I'm probably going to add some thickness on there. Oh, I didn't realize he had worked on Assassin's Creed. It's interesting. Actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to say mask edge loop partial. And then this way we can kind of bring this up and in a little bit more. And we can say insert single edge loop. Let's go ahead and give it a little bit of a, just a little bit. You know what? Maybe not. Maybe not at all. Let's just go through. Let's do this instead. Say Control Shift A. Say this, and then we'll say Control W, and then we'll just say crease PG. And so now we can go ahead and we can add in dynamic subdivisions and have it look pretty nice. Okay. Try to make sure that I'm matching it up with the form underneath. Pull it down some. There we go. So he's got eyelashes. We'll just add some thickness to the eyebrows. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Same thing. Just going to loop this around, loop this around. So now I've got these. Control W, crease PG. Now I've got that shape. Okay, so a lot easier to hold shape if you can crease it. Let's pull this into the head a little bit. Okay, cool. So now to finish off the eyebrows, the eyebrows are painted in. Yeah, probably. Remember having to do that manually in Maya as well? Yeah. Yeah, you like get the tool and you like middle mouse click and drag and to get like the amount of crease that you want. With this, I'm going to go ahead and create more shape. Let's turn off our dynamic smooth just so we can get a little bit more of an indication of how the shapes are working. And so what I'm trying to do is create a designed plane in the say crease edge loop partial. Always yes, please. Okay. So you see how that's going through and it's creating much more stylized of a shape, much more interesting sort of look than if it were to be just just a simple flat eyebrow. And this way, it's actually kind of cool. And this was an accident, but I might keep it like this. You get this extra ridge right here that was coming from the brow. It's coming right up and it's continuing up through the eyebrow and out. And so that's kind of a continuation of line, and that's a really neat little principle that works really well sometimes. You got to be careful when it happens because sometimes it creates tangents that you don't want to have. But yeah, I mean it's a great principle of appeal. It's a great principle of character design. So yeah, and that might be it for today. I mean, I've got other things that I'll be working on today, but I think that's all I'll do on stream. It's hard to be talking for hours on end. Yeah, cool. So now I've got to save. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on perspective. Okay, so we've got Garau. In fact, I need to go ahead and crease the oh, that's too narrow of a crease there. Let's say crease, okay, to be able to kind of hold that shape a little bit better. Make him some cool sunglasses. Yeah, that'd be cool. Have you seen the Carmen Sandiego, the new one that's been out on Netflix? It's got like Shadow Sun. Feels like he could be Shadow Sun, but like old and not muscular and not a samurai. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a good listen. I mostly listen to it because because of time, and I'm mostly watching the screen and things like that. Okay, there we go. There are the characters. So yeah, it's fun. I think it's definitely worth watching. Here, let's see progress char 01. I'll just put it like that and call it good. So there are a ton of things that I'll be going through and doing. These are essentially part of the homework for my class at Noman. I try to, like I was saying earlier, I try to follow along with the homework, just so that the students don't feel like I'm just giving them busy work or whatever. Show them that anybody can do it. Um, Essentially, what I'm trying to do is build an entire world, short film, all sorts of things. So it's so far I've got very little of it done, but working on it. Um, so yeah, eventually these will be full characters. There will be an ice cream truck. There will be the street that they live on, or that Kai lives on. Um, the inside of the house that we see, and then background characters and whatever is there for dressing the scene, sort of thing. It's it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It should be good, and I am so excited about it. um, yeah, I really that's it for today. I had a blast, and I am so glad that you guys came to have fun with me. Um, yeah, these two are the main characters, so that's why I kind of started going through and kind of pushing them forward first, um, because that way they're a little bit more of like a benchmark of being able to say, stylistically, this is what I'm trying to do. Um, And this is kind of the final quality that I'm wanting to shoot for and get out of my characters. So yeah, I know that's where we're at. I think I need to fix some ear issues with Garau, but yeah, he's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. And I'm not sure when I'll be streaming next. I think actually let me check. Let me check because I might have yeah, I have ZBrush Live. So I'll be streaming for Pixelogic on Friday morning at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it should be fun. I will probably work on environment stuff that day. Um, to try to push out some more of the environment for this. Either that, or I will work on the ice cream truck, and a lot of that um, will depend on what comes through in my Instagram poll. So if you follow me on Instagram, be sure to check that out. Keep an eye out, and yeah, dude, I'm happy about how this is turning out. Thanks again for showing up, and I will see you guys next time I see you.